Okay, I have an addendum. I forgot to mention one of the newest ways of producing solar power, and that is in space. Japan has actually launched a program to produce solar power with satellites. And the advantage of this is that we can actually put them so far in orbit that day or night they'll produce power, and they'll transmit the power via microwaves. And this is actually doable, and if you probably put the receiver offshore, we don't have to worry about powerful microwave beams coming off alignment and roasting people. But that is another potential way we can actually get solar power, which is actually kind of sci-fi in a way. Excuse me, why do I have gas when I start doing videos? Gosh damn it. And yeah, that's sort of sci-fi, because a few cartoons like Gundam Wing, or not Gundam Wing, but Gundam 00 actually suggest that humanity is going to be running off solar power from space. So it's actually quite interesting. But what do I want to talk about next? Hydrogen. Hydrogen power. Using hydrogen as a potential fuel source. Now, there are a few issues when it comes to hydrogen. The first off is production. When building an infrastructure, there's going to be problems if we're going to do it centralized or decentralized. And I think probably it's going to be a mix of that. A centralized method is basically it's brought sort of to the gas stations, and it's produced elsewhere. Some of the ways is that we can, when farming for electricity, we can do electrolysis on water. So we can probably have, instead of having maybe an oil rig out there, we can have a wind farm and solar power that also produces hydrogen. So that's one method. Another method is, of course, the nuclear reactors, as I was talking about. They use high temperature electrolysis, which is quite efficient. Regular electrolysis for home-based use, for decentralized, tends to be quite expensive because it's very inefficient. It is very inefficient. But we're finding new technology that uses solar power to produce hydrogen very cheaply. Again, read the links below, but that's a possibility. So if we can produce it at home quite cheaply, that makes it easier to get around. And you can also put those panels on gas stations and whatever, and they can also produce the hydrogen they need at the source. So we can still have a hydrogen highway if we wanted to. Another production method is actually from biomass. So there are possibilities of using bacteria or algae feeding off of biomass and having a product of that being hydrogen, and they're researching that as well. Another problem with hydrogen is, of course, storage. How are you going to store it in cars or in other places for it to be worthwhile? Two of the forefront methods used to be carbon nanotubes and metal hydrides. Problem with both of those methods, well, it will be quite expensive. We don't have, for one, a method to mass produce carbon nanotubes yet. So these will add to the costs about, say $30,000 to the price of a car. So that as a viable solution is not really good. Another one is, believe it or not, slightly burned chicken feathers, the keratin in it, and that seems to be a cheap solution. Another one is actually probably using some some sort of an ammonia borate or borite, and this is also coming up as a cheap solution and something as a bit of a as a good storage method. So so this can actually be part of the solution here in actually having hydrogen cars. So the thing is with hydrogen, not only you can simply convert your gas car to burn it, which is inefficient for its use, but we can also have something as fuel cells. Fuel cells simply can turn that hydrogen into an electric current and have its only waste product be water. And there has been talk about having hydrogen fuel cells on just about nearly everything: laptops, phones. It can be nearly used for almost anything you can think of. And as far as fuel cell technology goes, it doesn't have to be just hydrogen. We can also use methane and stuff. So there are a lot of things that we can do with hydrogen. It's coming around. The only problems is infrastructure and, of course, distribution. Those are the major problems. But with these things coming out, that seems to be likely going away, as well with storage. In the near future, it seems like hydrogen as a viable alternative seems pretty bright to me. So, to the next one.